Hi, what a great day to be at the United States Army War College. I wanted to take this opportunity just to do a big congratulations to the class of 2020. In all the previous years, the day or two before graduation, I go into Bliss Hall when the class is assembled, really for the last time before the graduation field, and have an opportunity to take 5-10 minutes and really just highlight a few things and to congratulate the group. So in the present situation, I have to do that slightly differently, but on behalf of the faculty, the staff, everybody at Carlisle Barracks, I just want to heartily congratulate the class of 2020. We're so proud of you, and we're very excited to go see what you're going to do next. Just to highlight a few things, because it's been an interesting year, you have to admit. We started with the water situation on your very first day. With only porta potties, no bathrooms, and all the craziness that went with that. Then we had the fish situation, and then who could imagine then we'd have the COVID-19 situation, which we all know is way beyond the situation. And it has implications nationally and globally for many years to come. But through all of that, this class has come together in class, in support of each other, as friends and family, as part of the community, and really done an amazing thing to get to this point. So I really want to thank you and say how proud I am and how proud all of us are of you. A few people I want to call out in particular groups. First of all, to all my fellow Army officers, I'm so proud of what you've done. I'm really excited to see what you're going to go do back out in our Army. The Army only selects a very small number of people to come to their War College. You are the best of the best. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with all the development you've had this year. For our sister services, you know, the joint community is very, very important. We all know we have to come together in a close-knit way to make things happen, but you enrich us in a very powerful way, and you bring together the power of the Department of Defense by you being here. So thank you for that. For our Department of the Army Civilian Corps and our interagency partners, that civilian expertise and leadership, the way you bring the whole of government to us and help us better understand, is an important part of all of ours education. So thanks for that. And thanks also to you for all the time you had to spend learning Army talk this year. You're all actually getting pretty good at it. And lastly, actually my personal favorites, don't mean to badmouth anybody else in the class, but I have a particular affinity for the international officers because they come from around the world, uproot their regular lives, bring their friends here, their family as part of this connection, and they really make and enrich our experience. And they bring a whole of international community view that makes we as Americans just that much better. So thank you for all of them, for all you've done to be part of this year. You know, all the war colleges are very good. We all have our unique ways we do things slightly differently, but the Army War College one is the best one. I mean, you know that. I say that obviously parochially, but it's also true in a powerful kind of way, I think. The War College here at the United States Army War College brings together here in Carlisle some unique parts. First of all, we have the archives, so we have an ability to reach into history in a different and powerful way. And you've learned that through in your thoughts about historical mindedness. How do you learn from the past and not be stuck in the past? The second part is what was the current part. What happens today? What are the lessons of the last 5, 10, 15 years? They're not quite in the history books yet, but the experiences you bring, our faculty brings, the staff brings, all the people we engage with, the lecturers this year come together to talk about the present challenges. And then our ability to look deep, right? To use the forecasting and futures and deep thinking and analysis to see what's coming. How do we prepare for the 20s and 30s? That's really what comes together here at Carlisle. That's part one. The second part is it's a close-knit community. Carlisle is a small town which has a warmth unto its own. And then secondly, it gives it a connection. It's not a commuter school. The friends and the families get to come together here and you truly make lifelong bonds. And those connections and those degrees of separation are really important. If you remember back in your lieutenant days or junior officer days, there was a lot of other people, a lot of other lieutenants. And so there was usually a lot of degrees of separation between you and some other lieutenant in another unit. Well, think about it now. Between colonels in the Army and captains in the Navy and the interagency GS 14 and 15, through your War College connections, there's probably 1 degree of separation between you and any other senior leader in the services or in the interagency. Now you have to figure out who that is. I mean, at this point, you might be down to 1 degree of separation with Kevin Bacon, I don't know. But it's pretty powerful, so please think about that as you leave here. It's very important. The next thing I'd like to do is just take a few minutes and just highlight a couple of slides that I used the very first day of your school year last year in August. And I want to highlight a few things, but the first one is about the vision and mission. You all know the vision and mission of this institution. Let me just highlight 2 things about the vision. The vision says that we are a premier institution for developing invaluable strategic leaders and influential ideas. So let me comment on those last 2 parts a little bit. You are our legacy, right? If you are not going to be an invaluable strategic leader, then that's going to reflect on us in a lot of ways. So think, please, as you move out of here, how do you become more invaluable? How do you make a difference? That's really what this year's been about. In a year of craziness and change around the world, we invest in people, and we've invested in you. The nation's invested in you. How do we bring that together? And the last one is about the ideas part. Lots of people have ideas. You see lots of it on TV, lots of ideas. How do you have influential ideas that lead to an impact, a positive impact around the world? That's really what we're talking about. The next slide I'd like to talk about is about the production slide. I showed you this the very first day last year. And if you look at it, the part I want to highlight on is look in the middle. It says to come into existence. Right? How does that happen? That comes together because of the faculty support this year, the staff, inside seminar, the wider contributions, the things you got to do, the New York City trip, the engagements, the very interesting dynamics of the last 2 months where you've had to engage in Zoom and all the other methods that we've used to try to connect with students and faculty and researchers around the world. So all that has helped come together to make you a different person. We're glad it has. I really only have one doubt, and that's maybe Seminar 18. I spent more time with them than the other seminars, and I still got kind of some doubts about that motley crew. But in the end, the production, what we've come out of this is a positive thing. But really the most important part is at the bottom. How will you continue to grow? Eisenhower, Marshall, Schwarzkopf, General Dunford, the retired chairman, they continue to grow from their War College experience to their senior positions. How are you going to do that? We'll give you a couple weeks to not read, but make sure you quickly get back into your evolution and development and self-development. The next slide I want to highlight to you is the Rubicon slide. I showed you this again on day one, and I highlighted to you the story. And if you recall, it's about Julius Caesar in the 13th Legion. He had been in Gaul for 5 years. He had been recalled to Rome, and notwithstanding I was trying to do a little historical mindedness for you, the real purpose behind this was to let you know that we all have a Rubicon, right? In this case, the die is cast. Alia iacta es. The die is cast for our strategic leaders for the next 20 years. That's you. So you are the leaders and thinkers, the influential leaders, the decision makers of the 2020s and beyond. How are you going to prepare? How are you going to reinforce your very best habits? Will you continue the ability to get bigger? Bigger responsibility is supposed to enlarge you. We need you to be not what you have been, but what you need to be. So how are you going to do that? You can't look on TV and not recognize it's a complicated world. We've all been deployed and part of that in many ways for many years. The agents of disorder thrive on chaos, right? They look for separation. They look for dissension. They try to drive wedges between people, nationally and globally. So what do you do in that situation? Where do you proceed? Where do you plan for? Well, no one knows exactly how things will turn out. So what do? We invest in people. And that's what we have done. That's what you have done for the last year. We've invested in you. The nation has invested in you. Your countries have invested in you. So now the opportunity is how to be part agents of change, how to help make things better around the world. That's what we're looking for you to do. And now for the last slide. In many ways, probably your last slide of your War College experience. And I would argue in many ways, maybe the most important as you head out of here. Some people feel themselves possessed of all truth. We see it every day. You can't look at TV and not see people pontificate as commentators who seem to act like they know everything. You can't be that person. I recall Benjamin Franklin, as you see on this slide, the last day of the Constitutional Convention. He was the old man of the group, the elder statesman. If I recall correctly, I didn't read it in the last couple of days. It was either the last day or the second to last day of the convention. He didn't actually speak it. He wrote it because he was already physically infirm and wasn't feeling well. He had a weak voice. He was more than 25 years older than George Washington, and I think more than 35 years older than Thomas Jefferson. So let me take a moment and read it slowly. I confess there are several parts of this Constitution which I do not at present approve, but I am not sure I shall never approve them. For having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged by better information or fuller consideration to change opinions, even on important subjects which I once thought right, but found to be otherwise. It is therefore that the older I grow, the more apt I am to doubt my own judgment and to pay more attention to the judgment of others. Let me say that again, to pay more attention to the judgment of others. What a great thing to think about as you depart here. Lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the United States Army War College Foundation for all they've done to support this institution and support you and your families. Really amazing contributions that help us do levels of service and support that we could not otherwise do. So thank you, Ruth, and the entire foundation team for what you've done for us. And lastly, and certainly not least, good luck to you and your families. You are part of the War College. You always will be. Reach back for assistance. When we reach out to you for assistance for future students, make sure you remember that everybody needs to pay it forward. We're very proud of you. Don't forget our motto, strength and wisdom, because we need you to be wise and strong out there in the world today. Good luck and Godspeed.